Hey, this is Jason here at Petals from the Past. We're down at the greenhouses where all the magic happens today, and I wanted to show you something. These are Paw Paws, and it is one of our great Southeastern native plants that have been so difficult to find over the last 2 to 3 years that Shelley finally got her hands on some seed. And so we have transplanted those seed into our little seed trays. I think these hold around 50 plants or so. And what we're looking at, these guys were seeded about 2.5 months ago, somewhere in that range. When we're talking about those seedlings, the first part of the seed that comes out develops into the root system. You can see the seed still attached, the root, the radicle has come out. This one will soon be developing the leaves or the cotyledons. You'll see the cotyledon leaves, and then the true leaves emerge after that. And then of course, like we're talking about, you watch for that root system that's going to be coming out of the bottom. That's your cue that they're now ready to transplant. And let me walk you through that process, and then we'll talk about where Paw Paws can work in the landscape. So when we get to this point, we're ready to transplant. We will squeeze that tray, and then we'll gently slide that seedling out of it. You can see that root system that's there. We've got a nice, good, solid potting soil. We're going to use kind of a pretty decorative pot in here. This is a nice soil blend. It has our Happy Frog mixed with some pine bark fines to give it a little bit better drainage. We'll take that plant, nestle it into the center of the container, and then we'll tamp that down. We'll be able to water it in after this, kind of get it settled in. And then I'm a big fan of slow release fertilizers. So Grower Special, which is made by High Yield, or you could use Osmocote. Either of those two would work. And generally a pot this size, we'll go with, this is a tablespoon, we'll use about half that amount. So I'll sprinkle it kind of evenly around. That way we'll get that fertilizer distributed evenly all the way through the plant. From here, we'll water it in and make sure that that Paw Paw does not dry out. Or if you're doing it in a production, like Shelley's getting these ready for us to transplant and have them available, we'll transplant them into one of our nursery pots. Black plastic pots seem to be the easiest for us to be able to grow these in. It will take us now from June all the way through to October, at which time this Paw Paw will be rooted all the way in. We should look for a height of around maybe 18 inches to 24 inches, and it will be multiple branches, unless we take a stake and tie it. And that's kind of how they grow, and then it's ready to go in the garden. So these Paw Paws in the 1 gallon container will be ready for your garden in October. And for what we don't take up to the retail area, we will transplant some of those 1 gallons into this 3 gallon pot. I like this size also, and some of the gardeners that we talk to, they prefer this size as well. This is another year added to the age of this plant, and it allows us to tie it, and you can train this as a single stemmed plant or a multi-trunked plant. And Grace and I were talking about it earlier, if you have this as a single stemmed plant in your landscape, you're talking about a 12 to 15 foot tree. But if you have them like we do, and like she does in your home landscapes where it's native, the deer have already been by to visit them, they probably nipped the tip out, and it's going to be a multi-trunked shrub, 4 or 5 feet, maybe 6 feet. And these guys load down with that beautiful, large, kind of peanut-shaped fruit that's ripening August, late July, maybe in August, and then even to early September. But we were laughing earlier, you've got to be faster than the possums and the raccoons at getting to that fruit when it's ripening, because they are getting it much more quickly. In fact, part of our seed collection system is where we're following the scat behind the raccoons and the possums, because they've left the seed behind after they've eaten all of our fruit. But if you do get a chance to taste a Paw Paw, whether it's at the farmer's market or you've grown it, it has a kind of a yellowish, yellow-orange center, nice soft texture, and a custard almost appearance and flavor. It's hard to describe, but I love the use of this plant in the landscape, because we really don't have a common insect or disease problem. It's a host for 1 or 2 butterfly species, and just makes a really low maintenance landscape plant that's also functional as a pollinator attractant and produces a fruit that you and I, if we're fast enough, can get to and enjoy.